You know, sometimes a plan isn't just a schedule or a to-do list. Sometimes it's something so much bigger. It's a promise, a profound commitment, a covenant that can shape an entire life no matter how short. Today we're going to talk about a story just like that.
And these words, right here, get to the very heart of it. They come from the diary of a young girl named Sana al-Suwadi. This single idea, that this was a journey of the heart, not just the mind, is really the key to understanding everything about her.
So, let's dive in. The big question we're exploring today is this. How does a straightforward, structured plan, something anyone could follow, become the absolute center of a young person's world, their entire reason for being?
All right, so let's properly meet Sana al-Suwadi. Her first name, Sana, actually means light or brilliance, which, as you'll see, is incredibly fitting. Her story has become a true source of inspiration for so many people.
And here's the thing that stops you in your tracks. Sana was just 16 years old when her life on this earth ended. But in those 16 years, her family says she reached a kind of spiritual depth that most of us, well, we might spend a whole lifetime searching for.
And just listen to how her mother describes it. It's so poetic. Born on this incredibly blessed night. And then when she passed, it rained, as if nature itself felt the loss. It just paints this picture of a soul that was truly special.
Okay, now let's look at the actual artifact at the center of her story. The physical, structured plan she was following. This wasn't just some casual checklist. For her, it was the architecture of her promise, of her covenant.
So the plan itself is actually a well-known schedule. It was designed to give people a clear, day-by-day roadmap for memorizing the entire Quran in just 2 years. It's a huge undertaking, and this plan breaks it down into manageable steps. And here's a little peek at how it works. See, the real magic here is the balance. You're not just piling on new verses every single day. Look at day 4. The task isn't to learn something new, it's to go back and review the first 25 verses. This rhythm of learning and then reinforcing is what makes it so powerful. It's designed to really cement the words in your memory for good. So yeah, the core idea is that this is not a passive thing at all. It's a full-on, active process. You've got the daily memorization, sure, but then there's the constant review. Then you're supposed to listen to recitations to really get the sound and the flow. And maybe most importantly, you pray with the verses you've learned. You make them a living part of your daily connection to God.
But look, any plan is just a tool, right? A map. What really turns that map into a meaningful journey is the why. And to get to Sana's why, we have to look at her own words, in her diary. That's where we find the real heart of her story.
And that really is the central question, isn't it? What's the difference between just checking boxes on a schedule and turning that same schedule into a sacred promise, a deep, personal bond? What causes that shift?
In her diary, Sana actually thought about this. She considered the kind of ambitions many of us have, becoming a doctor, an engineer, seeing the world. But for her, all of that came second. Her number one goal, the dream that guided everything else, was purely spiritual. She wanted to be among those saved from the fire and admitted to paradise.
And this entry, wow, is just so raw and relatable. She's not pretending to be perfect. She admits it's a struggle. She falls, she gets back up, she relapses, and she stands up again. It's this endless cycle. But through it all, her focus, her ultimate prayer never wavers. It shows such incredible self-awareness.
Now get this. This was the actual to-do list she wrote the night before she fell ill, and it's amazing to see how she lived. Right there, you have review Surah Al-Araf and review the first juz for the Quran competition, right next to complete the chemistry file. She had religious studies like fiqh and sirah on there too. For her, there was no separation. Her faith wasn't a hobby. It was woven into the very fabric of her everyday student life.
So all of this brings us to what she left behind. Her life might have been brief, but the light from her covenant, from her commitment, it just keeps on shining.
Her last day was just so quintessentially Sana. She came home from school, she did her Quran review. The last thing she recited was from a chapter that actually talks about the people of paradise. Then she wrote that to-do list for the next day. The next morning, she suffered a sudden brain hemorrhage
And 3 weeks after that, she passed away. And in one of her diary entries, she wrote this incredibly reflective, almost prophetic note about her own name. She knew it meant light, but she compared it to lightning, brilliant, but quick to disappear. She wondered, I don't know if the light can last long.
But the beautiful thing is, we now have the answer to her question. And the answer is yes. Through her story, through her incredible faith and the covenant she kept, her light wasn't like lightning at all. It's enduring, it shines on, and it continues to light the way for others.
And so her story leaves us with a question. Not for her, but for us. Sana showed how a focused, heartfelt commitment can create a legacy of light that outlasts a lifetime. It makes you think, doesn't it? What is the covenant that we are making with our lives? What will be the light that we leave behind? Thanks for joining us.